and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy and today we are going to be comparing the Aquazzura Cupid Plateau 130 shoes versus a dupe from AliExpress. So I'm not going to go through the unboxing because I think it's quite obvious that Aquazzura you have your classic box unboxing and everything is wrapped up so beautifully. The AliExpress one, honestly, not too bad. They give you a nice big fat one of these and all the heels goes in this. However, the thing that got me was quality. Let's talk about the quality of these shoes. So here I have the dupe and over here I have the real thing, the Aquazzura one. So these ones, obviously you have the brand name Aquazzura, you also have the classic pineapple at the back, and the dupe one, you obviously don't have that. That would be something else. But the first thing that I've noticed was the quality of them. So the Aquazzura one, they have satin. It's made out of satin everywhere, and everywhere else it's made out of leather. Underneath the satin, you can see that it's made out of leather, and therefore the knot at the front, it stays put. Compared to the dupe one, where it is literally just satin. There's no leather. This isn't leather as well. This, unfortunately, is just glued on. I say unfortunately. It is literally just glued on. There are padding in here, but the PU, which is the one that they use, they don't use leather here, is literally just glued on. There's no stitching on it. The next thing I noticed, which was a major thing, was the bottom part. The platform here, it is just one single square compared to the Aquazzura, where it is split. It is split into two. And I think, yes, the Aquazzura one is not as high as the dupe. I prefer the height of the Aquazzura one just because it looks less platformy. It's platform, but not as like eyesore of a platform, if you know what I mean. This just literally looks like a stripper heel. So those are the difference as well in terms of the front platform. The Aquazzura platform one is significantly less than the dupe one, as you can see right here. Another thing I've noticed as well with the satin used from the Aquazzura is that you have like almost like little hairs coming out of it. I'm not sure they're just fibers that's come out as in its normal satin fiber, but with the dupe one you actually don't have that. It's very, very smooth, and I don't think the dupe one is satin at all. I think this is just fabric and not even satin. Given the price point, I kind of get it. This one was £53, whereas these ones was £715. So there's a huge difference in terms of the price range. Another thing I will say as well is that this one I got in size 39, whilst the other one I got it in a size 39.5. Another thing to mention as well is the actual heels. So the heels part, the dupe one is actually taller, and I think it's to compensate the heel at the very front. I think the actual slope of the feet is the same. In fact, if we compare them, they actually look pretty much the exact same. So for me, it just looks like the heel, they're just trying to accommodate the front. Another thing about the heels, as you can see, the Aquazzura one is a lot thicker than the dupe one. I prefer the Aquazzura one a bit more. I do like the dupe one stiletto heels, but I just think they look better without the massive platform. As soon as you have like these stilettos with platform, it reminds me of stripper heels. These ones are a little bit better. I love the thickness of the back of these ones, and it's just so much nicer. So these are exactly the ones that I have. They are, honestly, it's a really nice pair. As you probably also notice is the straps. The strap stays put. It stays upwards. Whereas the dupe one, I mean, it is just, what are you expecting for £53? So yes, as you can see, the dupe one is a bit different. It is definitely much more flimsy, and also there's a slight difference in color. So the Aquazzura one looks more like an ivory compared to the dupe one. The dupe one is like more of a proper bright white, whereas the Aquazzura one is definitely a much more ivory muted white. It's beautiful. It has a very nice shine to it. To be honest, this one also has a very nice shine to it, but you can tell in terms of the quality they are two different price range. In terms of wearing it, the Aquazzura one feels much more stable compared to the dupe one. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and pretend the Aquazzura one is comfortable. It is not. I tripped over twice in those heels. However, this one I really just struggle to even walk in it, especially in the carpet where I am. It is not great. So yeah, so that's another thing that I've also noticed. Another thing to notice with the Dupe one is that the way it already stitches in the side here, it already has, like, you can see the seams. It's been sewed in and the seams are out, and I don't think that's something that you're supposed to do. However, on the Aquazzura one, you don't see any of it. It is all nice and smooth. It is beautifully done. I think in terms of comparing both shoes, that pretty much sums it all up. One thing to note as well, the Aquazzura one, the heel straps, inside the leather, it is completely white, whereas the Dupe ones, within those heel colour, is completely nude all the way through. Another thing to notice is the Aquazzura one, the buckle has a little elastic at the end, whereas the Dupe one doesn't. It is just straight up material and the buckle, which I assume when it comes to walking is a little bit less comfortable because it does feel like it's pulling on your ankle a little bit, whereas this one has a little bit more ease, which is the Aquazzura one. So those are the comparisons of these two heels. The Aquazzura one obviously is much more nicer, it's much more luxurious. The fabric is satin and leather compared to the Dupe where it's just not. However, with the Dupe, the platform, is a shame that the front isn't separated and it's just a little bit higher compared to the Aquazzura one. Another thing I will just quickly point out is that Dupe one was actually quite difficult to wear because I find that because it wasn't very structured at the front, I found my feet, I had to adjust this quite a lot to try and fit it on over my feet. So that was another thing to look out for. But all in all, that was the comparison of the Dupe versus the Aquazzura one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know whether you'll count these as two separate shoes or whether they are close enough for you. Comments, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!